Hare Krishna. Welcome to the Śrī Īśopaniṣad class. So, thank you very much for joining. We will cover mantra 1 today. And before we get started, let us recite the Mangalacharan prayers. So I will show it on the screen here. Okay, I hope you can see the screen.
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
You can be muted and recite the prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति
स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुः
वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु पदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं
साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथन्वितं तं सञ्जीवम्
अद्वैतं सावधूतं
परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं
राधा कृष्ण
ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च
विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे हे कृष्ण बंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत
नमोस्तुते
कांचन देवृंदावनेश्वरी विश्वभानुसुते प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद द्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे
हरे
हरे राम
राम राम हरे हरे। श्री प्रभुपाद
श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय।
जय।
All right. So once again, welcome everyone to the Śrī Īśopaniṣad class. We are beginning almost at the beginning of the Īśopaniṣad. We discussed the introduction and the invocation mantra, which is Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam. Now we are going to discuss the first mantra, which is Isavashyam Idam Sarvam. But before that, I think we have the practice of reciting, since you are all expected to memorize, at least those that are doing the Bhakti Shastri are expected to memorize the first 2 verses. We will take this opportunity to recite the Sanskrit as well as the translation of the first 2 verses. And kindly stay on mute so that, with Zoom, there is audio lag and it doesn't work very well. So, Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnasya Purnamada Purnameva Vashishyate.
avashishyate.
So actually, since we are doing lead and follow, repeat, you can also unmute if you want on Zoom. The personality of Godhead is perfect and complete.
The personality of God
the Godhead is perfect and complete.
And because he is completely perfect,
And
because
because
he
he
is
is completely perfect,
all emanations from him,
all
emanations
emanations from him,
such as this phenomenal world,
such as this
as
phenomenon
this phenomenal
are
world,
perfectly equipped
are
are
perfectly
perfectly
equipped
as complete wholes.
as
as
complete
complete
whole.
Whatever is produced of the complete whole
Whatever
is
is
produced
produced of the complete whole
is also complete in itself,
is
is
also
also complete in itself.
because he is the complete whole,
Because he is the complete whole,
even though so many complete units emanate from him,
even though so many complete units emanate from him,
he remains the complete balance.
he remains the complete balance.
Now comes today's verse. Isavashyam idam sarvam
Isavashyamidam sarvam
yat kincha jagatyam jagat
yatkincha jagatyam jagat
tena tyaktena bhunjitha
tena tyaktena bhunjita
ma gridha kasya svidhanam.
ma kasya svidhanam.
Everything animate or inanimate that is within the universe
Everything animate or inanimate that is within the universe
is controlled and owned by the Lord.
is controlled and owned by the Lord.
One should therefore accept only those things
One should therefore accept only those things
necessary for himself,
necessary for himself,
which are set aside as his quota,
which are set aside as his quota,
and one should not accept other things,
and one should not accept other things,
knowing well to whom they belong.
knowing well to whom they belong.
Okay, very nice. Oh, I was not sharing, was I? It's okay. You have the Īśopaniṣad. You are expected to have Īśopaniṣad in front of you anyway. Good. Okay. So, this is today's verse. Isavashyam idam sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjitha ma gridha kasya svidhanam. So, very, very important verse. Let me open my notes. So, first I would like to start with the general structure of Śrī Īśopaniṣad. As I had mentioned in the previous class, the Īśopaniṣad is divided into alternating sections between what and what? Anybody remembers? Let's see who's listening carefully. The sections of Īśopaniṣad are alternating between. Raise your hand on Zoom if you would like to speak. So I will tell. They are alternating between knowledge and application or practice. So knowledge, then application, practice. Knowledge, application, practice, or application and practice. Okay. Why I say application and practice? Because we are supposed to, once we gain the knowledge, we are supposed to apply it. But not just apply it once at one time, but apply it repeatedly. And that is called as practice. So the knowledge of Īśopaniṣad is supposed to be applied or applied continuously. So that is what we call as AP. AP tests for all the high school students. So AP means, in our case, application and practice. So the first verse, which was Isavashyam idam sarvam, no, sorry, the invocation verse, Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Avashishyate. So what do you think? This is knowledge or it is application?
Knowledge.
Very good.
Knowledge.
Yes, it is giving the knowledge about the Supreme Lord and about the world. Purnam Adaha and Purnam Idam. So the Lord is perfect, Purna. His creation is also Purna. We discussed this in detail last time. So it is about knowledge. Next section of Īśopaniṣad is comprising of 3 verses, 1, 2, 3, of which we will cover 1. If there is time, we will cover 2, but given the size of my notes, I doubt we will be able to do justice properly to 1 also. Okay, so there are a lot of things to discuss. Srila Prabhupada has written a very fantastic purport. So we will discuss that. So this verse is all about application. In fact, the whole section 1, 2, 3 is about application and practice. Okay, so let us see how that is the case. So the first verse, now we have read the verse and we have read the translation, right? So the translation is that, so in this, as you can see, let me show it on the screen, or actually I want to force you to use your own books. I'm not going to screen share. Here in the room, there is advantage. So because I'm displaying on TV. So which part of the verse you can call as application? Which word in the translation you can point out and say, because of that word or that phrase or something, this verse means application.
I guess quota. Quota.
No, in English translation, I'm asking.
Your quota, something like that.
Okay. Should not. Okay, should not, and also should.
Should
Both are
therefore
there, no?
accept.
One should and one should not. Are you following? So there is an instruction, you should do this, you should not do this. So it is all about action. It is about application, as you can see, right? So what is the application? That this verse is also known as the Īśopaniṣad. This first word is Isavashyam idam sarvan. This Īśopaniṣad is also known as Isavashyam. So this Isavashya is the very, very important word, and I will explain that, but I'm just telling you, wherever we will use this word Isavashya throughout the whole it's not Isavashya, it's Isavasya. So sa, not sha. We will call it as the Isavashyam Principle. So we will use this word, please keep it in mind. So what it means is that Isavasyam idam sarvam. So please pay very careful attention. It means that Isha, who is Isha? Lord Ishvara is Isha. Avasyam. Avas, what is Avas? Kisko kehte hain? What is Avas?
Residence.
Residence,
Home.
isn't it? Avas, right? We say Avas or Vas or Nivas. All those things are like residence, variations of that. Idam sarvam. Idam, same thing as Purnamidam, which means that this material world is perfect. That was the meaning of Purnamidam. So that same idam, this world, sarvam, the entire world is Isha's residence. Why is that the case? Or what does it mean? It means, the acharyas explain, Srila Prabhupada, Madhvacharya, Baladev Vidyabhushan, they all explain in their commentaries that this word Isha Avas means it is fit to be dwelt by the Lord. This material world is a place fit or good enough for the Lord to reside. Because why? If the Lord is not there in the material world will not function. From Bhagavad Gita, you all understand Sutre Manigana Iva. Right? The Lord is the Sutra, the thread in the necklace. Remember? Which chapter that verse is in? Anybody remembers? Bhagavad Gita quiz. Anybody remembers?
I think second chapter. Second chapter.
Chapter 7, Prabhuji.
Chapter
Seven.
7.
Yes, chapter 7.
7, yeah.
You get 18 guesses, you are sure to get it right. Because there are 18 chapters. But it is the 7th chapter. 7.7. So the Lord is keeping this world together as the Paramatma within every atom. So this material world is a place where the Lord resides, because this material world can only function when the Lord resides in it. Otherwise, it won't even exist. And because he enters, it is his energy, he is the owner. The energetic is the owner of the energy. Without the energetic, there is no energy. The energy is coming from the energetic. So this whole world is the property of the Lord, therefore. Are you following? Because he is the one because of which it is sustaining. Okay, like Prabhuji is the Lord of the house, that's he is providing for the family, earning the money. If the backbone of the house is gone, then the house doesn't exist. So we can say this house belongs to him. Correct? Are you following? So whoever is keeping it together is the owner, is providing for the whole. So that is Isavashyam Idam Sarvam. So that is the very important principle, that this whole material world, we all know it all from very beginning, that the material world belongs to the Lord. He is the owner. In the Damodar Katha, we say that, you know, the boys of Kuvera, they thought that they are so proud and my father is the owner. His father was just treasurer, Kuvera. He is not the owner. Then when they see Lord Krishna, when the Lord liberates them, then they realize, oh, Bhagwan is the real owner. I thought Kuvera, my father, is the owner. That's why we were so proud. Okay. So that is Isavashyam Idam Sarvam. So the Isavashyam principle, whenever we will say this word, it means that the Lord is the owner of the whole material creation. That is what it means. Isavasya principle. Next line, Yat Kincha Jagatyam Jagat. What that means is that Yat Kincha Jagatyam Jagat means that he is the Lord of everything, that Idam is being expanded, of everything in the universe. This Jagat, this material universe, is what he is the Isha of. Everything that is present in this universe belongs to the Lord, animate or inanimate. The word Jagat, Acharyas explain, means animate or inanimate. Okay. The third line is, now comes the principle. So that is the first two lines you can say are knowledge, that the whole world is owned by the Lord. He is the real proprietor or the owner. So that part is the knowledge. Next two are the application. Tena tyaktena bhunjitha means that by him, tena, by the Isha or the Ishvara, tyaktena bhunjitha means that tyaktena means it has been given to you by the Lord. Some portion has been given to you. Bhunjitha means, and you should accept it as such. You should accept what has been given to you. Okay. Then the fourth line is Ma Ghridaha Kasyas with Dhanam. But you should not try to, Ma means not. Where else does this word come? Ma Shuchaha. Very nice. Right? Sarva Dharman Parityajya Maam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Moksheshami. Ma Shuchaha. Ma Shuchaha means do not worry. So Ma means don't. Gridhaha means hanker. Hanker, or like a, manipulate or do something which is, try hard basically. Hanker for kasyas with dhanam, somebody else's dhana means property. And kasyas with is also meaning knowing somebody else's. Who is that somebody else? There are two meanings of this. One meaning is somebody else's means the Lord has allocated it to somebody else. Okay? Or knowing that it is the Lord. You don't worry who he has allocated to. All you need to worry is it's not yours. Why you have to break your head on whose it is? As long as it is not yours, don't worry about it. Whether the Lord has allocated it or it is free holding in the Lord's quota right now and he will allocate in the future, all those things we don't need to worry. We just need to think what is ours and be happy with that. That is the tena tyaktena bhunjitha. Accept it. Accept what has been given to you. Bhunjitha means to accept. Tyaktena means what has been allocated. Tena means by the Lord. Okay. So that is the breakdown of the meaning of this verse. So I said that the first three verses, 1, 2, 3, are the application or the practice portion, right? So the first verse is talking about Isavashyam Principle. What is Isavashyam Principle? That everything belongs to the Lord and we should accept what he has given to us as our quota. So it's not like one should not think, oh, everything belongs to the Lord. Oh, so nothing is mine. So what? What should I do? I shouldn't touch anything. Everything is belonging to the Lord. Some people believe like that. Everything is belonging to the Lord. Nothing is mine. If you read the Īśopaniṣad, that is not the case. The Lord is not like, he has obviously created this world for our use. And he is therefore allocating us the quota for us to use. So it is not like we cannot touch. Oh, we should not touch anybody's property. This whole world is God's property, so we should not touch anything. We should stop breathing. We should do, complete, stopping of all activity. In Bhagavad Gita also, Lord Krishna says you cannot stop all activity. You have to do activity. In Īśopaniṣad, we understand that we have to do activity using the resources that are allocated to us. So a very nice way to understand this is like a father has a property and he has several children. So he allocates, when he has to divide the property and pass it on to the next generation, he divides the property and gives it to his various children, isn't it? Now what does he expect his children to do? Fight with each other on that property? No. He expects his children to behave properly and stay within their boundaries. Whatever has been given, father has decided. They cannot question why you gave him more, why you gave him less. Whatever father has given is done. You cannot question that, or you're not supposed to question that, and neither are you supposed to take it by force. And here is a very, very important principle. If the father is alive, sometimes the will is read after the father dies, right? Then you cannot do anything. But let's say father is alive and he has divided it. And if two children are fighting, let us say one of them is the aggressor and the other is the victim. You following? So the aggressor is trying to encroach on the property of the victim. What does the father do? Now I see many parents here or adults. What would you do? What would you do, Prabhuji? So you will advise them. Let's say, and one is clearly the aggressor and one is the victim. So who will you advise? To the aggressor. And because you are the father, you already kind of know the mentality of the children, right? Because you know this guy is likely to create trouble. So what do you do? Which one? I don't know. or no one. Very nice children. But I'm just saying as an example, you know that one of them is going to create trouble. You begin to advise him before itself, before he does the sinful action, isn't it? So the Lord also does that as Paramatma in our heart. He guides us. This is your quota. Don't do this sinful action. He is guiding us. But still, sometimes it happens because everybody has free will. So they can do whatever they want. Like the Lord advised so many times through multiple agents, through multiple people, he advised Dhritarashtra. Right? Through Vidura. Who else advised Dhritarashtra? There is one more person that definitely comes to mind, or at least 3-4 people come to mind.
Bhishma also.
Bhishma Pitama.
Bhishma Pitamaha advises, very nice.
Vidura.
Vidura advises, and there is one more that comes to my mind at least. Very
Veda-
often.
Vedavyas. Vedavyas.
Dronacharya. Very nice. Sorry?
Vedavyas.
Vyasa, I'm reading Mahabharata these days. Maybe he advised, I don't know. Mahabharata is so vast, but at least we know of 4 people who have advised.
Markandeya.
Lord Krishna.
Yeah, Lord Krishna also advises, but he sends Akruraji. Yeah, that's the name we forgot. Akruraji advises, Vidura advises, Bhishma advises, Drona advises, so many people.
Markandeya also advises.
Okay, maybe that is true. I have not read.
Even Gandhari used to tell him.
Okay, yes. So many people advise, but still there is free will. He did not, he always was partial to his own children. So then what happens? Then the Lord has to, what does the father do? Now, I'm not talking about Dhritarashtra as the father, but let's say the case where, you're the father, one of them is aggressor, one of them is the victim. The father has to take harsh action against the aggressor child. Even though he is the child, he has to take harsh action. He has to take punitive action. He has to punish or restrict. Isn't it? If a father is, dharmic, if he is following the law, he should do that. So God does that. It does not mean that God is being partial or anything. He has set aside. So this verse, Isavashyam verse, is very clearly delineating the entire law of karma here. Why is God neutral? Yes, he is neutral. He has given everybody their own quota. The problem arises when we try to go outside our quota, because then we are encroaching on another child's quota, our siblings' quota, and the Lord doesn't like that. First, he tries to advise, then there will be punitive action. And that is called reaction for our sinful acts. Very simple. There is no, it's a very, the law of karma is very, very simply understood by this. So, then the question comes, so I'm explaining just the sort of the principle here. How do you know what is your quota? What is my quota? Where is it written? There is no will. Okay, father, when he gives a will, he will write the whole will. It is with the lawyer. So today, if I say, Prabhuji, from today, this house is mine. The Lord came in my dream and, said, this house is mine. You leave. I need to live here. I can just come and claim. That is what Dhritarashtra or they did. They didn't even give 5 villages to the Pandavas. They said, not even a pin of land. Isn't it? So how do you know what is your quota? Yes, Mataji.
I'm thinking, Prabhuji, like in our life, let us not lament for what we not having. Whatever we have, basically, it's not that we are not having anything. Everybody has got something, and according to the capacity, we can definitely make it available to ourselves. So when it's kind of not over.
But how do you know really what is it? Like,
when it is affecting our peaceful life or spiritual path.
So let us take a simple example. You have a grown-up child, right? So when the child is young, we feel he's our so to say, our property, or he's under our care, right? We have authority on the child. We say that, right? Parent is the guru of the child, and the child should do what the parent says, isn't it? You have control over your child, right? But when the child grows up and there is some transition age, we don't know what, it's a gray area. After that, you're supposed to let them be independent, isn't it? Then that means there is at least a point in time where he was, so to say, your property, and there is a point in time when he is no longer. Correct? Maybe in the middle there is some transition phase, and there are some fights that happen and whatever, whatever, right? How do you say what is your property? Somebody else? Any other thoughts?
I think the social value plays a role here to decide what is the quota.
Social value.
As long as others won't contest.
Others don't contest. Okay. It's too small for me to read. Anyway, maybe somebody else can. Anyway, I just cannot read this. Anyway, so yeah, all that is. So here is the answer that I have done some reading up and of notes by senior devotees, hearing some lectures of very senior devotees, reading some of the commentaries of previous acharyas, etc. And the answer is the following. It's a very, very clear answer. Not a very clear answer, but a very actionable answer. Okay? The answer is that there may be many things which we are not clear that who is the owner. Let's not worry about that. But there is a whole bunch of things which we are absolutely clear we are the owner. There is no doubt that you are the owner. And there are many such things. So what are some of the things?
Body, our body.
Very nice. Your body is definitely yours. Your child's body, we said it's questionable. At a certain age, maybe yes. After a certain age, maybe no. Right? But your own body is always, the Lord has given it as your property. Correct? Any doubts about that?
No.
Anything else?
Yeah.
So, sir, is suicide, I mean, it's a bad question, but then is committing suicide a sin or not?
It is. We should not take away our own life.
Air,
That's a
water,
different long topic.
Panchabhutas, air, water, fire.
Air, water, fire, we cannot say it is our property. There are so many wars that have been fought on water, isn't it? Kaveri, whatever, Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, right? And air, luckily there is no war yet, but I'm sure in the future there will be. And actually that is going on. People are saying, climate change. Oh, China and India are doing so much pollution and only America is worried about climate change and we are pumping billions of dollars. What about those countries? They are polluting the atmosphere. So we will vote this way, that way. And all these things happening actually about air, if you think about it. So next thing is
our actions,
comes
our
out
thought,
of action.
our
if you
actions.
raise your hand, that will be nice. But so another thing is our time.
Action.
Actions are okay. It's not, I don't know how to classify that as something tangible or not. But our time, right? Is that yours?
No,
Unless-
no.
How
Our time
come-
is not ours.
Oh, why?
Yes. It's ours. We can
Why
use
is
it
it
the
not
way we want.
Why is it not yours? Unless you trade it with someone. I have traded 8 hours of
That
my
is ours.
time every day with Intel. They give me some money, but that is my choice. I can trade my body also. A laborer trades his body. He says, for 3 hours, I am your laborer. You want me to lift this or lift that? Give me this much money, I will lift. But ultimately, it's your choice. It's yours. You can use. Okay, you had to trade it for some other benefit, isn't it? Yes, Abhimanyu Prabhu.
No, I just wanted to add, Prabhuji, it's our will as well as mind.
Sure, but those are a little bit subtle. Will and mind, I agree. That is also ours. Somebody here said thoughts, but more tangible things that you can do something with. I'm sure you can do something with your mind as well. I can say it as your talents. How about that? Your skills, they are yours, isn't it? Skills and talents, which is coming, some skills and talents come from the mind. Sure. Your energy is yours. Again, function of your, whatever, body or whatever. So you get some sense. Okay, let's not go too deep into this because again, we have to finish the class. So yes, Suri Prabhu, last one.
Individual dharma. Dharma.
Our dharma. Okay, I am not able to understand that in what context. Can you explain a little more? Or
No, sir, Parvati.
okay, so at least we have identified some things: our body, our time, our skills, our energy, our talents, right?
Our five senses. Our five senses.
Sure, that is part of the body. Okay. Senses, whether you call the Gyanendriya or Karmendriya, they are all part of body. Working senses or knowledge acquiring senses. Okay. You all know there are 11 senses, right? Plus mind. Okay. So all that is ours. Now the question becomes, how do you utilize your quota properly? This is your quota, let us say. The bigger question is not just a question about, oh, what is my quota? We have identified some things which are definitely our quota. Now, are we utilizing our quota properly or not? Before you go and think that I should or should not encroach on someone else's quota, whatever has been given to you, are you utilizing it properly? So that leads to the question, what does it mean, proper utilization of my quota? What does it mean? Your business should be to not encroach on others' quota. Instead, utilize your quota properly first. Let us say in the extreme case, you have completely used your quota, completely exhausted it. Maybe then there is fine. Okay, I need somebody else's quota. I'm done with mine. I have used it up. I am saying we have not even made 1% use of our quota. So then that leads to the question, what is the meaning of proper utilization of our quota? Any ideas?
That is for what we have been given the birth in this material world.
Exactly. So this quota we have to understand. The quota means it has been allocated to us. Now here it is slightly different from the father dividing up the property. Because when father gives the property, it's like, okay, it's yours, you can do whatever you want. That is not the case. So that analogy doesn't apply this much forward. The property still belongs to the Lord. It always belongs to the Lord. He has just given a quota for us to take care. We are like the caretakers. So if, let us say, Prabhuji very kindly says, I'm going to India for 6 months. Kindly, can you, take care of this house? You can live here. You can enjoy the house, nice AC, nice sofa, nice everything. So am I supposed to like sell off the house and just, whatever, or do spoil the sofa? No. What am I supposed to do? Do everything so that when he comes back and looks at it, he's happy because he's a very good friend. Similarly, the Lord has given us the quota. We just said, what is the quota? At least some part of the quota we identified. Our time, our skills, our talents, our body, all those things, our mind. We should utilize that so that Krishna is happy. That is proper utilization of our quota. Are you following? Are we doing that? How many of you can put your hand on your heart and say you are doing it? I cannot. Hand down. Anybody can say here that you are fully utilizing your quota properly? Anyone?
No, Prabhuji.
Yes, no?
No, Prabhuji, I'm not.
No. So the question about encroaching on someone else's quota doesn't even arise. First, utilize the quota that you have been given to yourself properly. That should be our main business. And that is the main essence of this verse, that Lord Krishna has given us the quota. It doesn't mean he has given us power of attorney, whatever you want, you do. No, we are just caretakers. And therefore, we must utilize our quota in a way so that the real owner is pleased with our utilization. And least of all, we should fight with each other. Even if you don't please him by serving him, by utilizing our quota for his pleasure, at least the thing is, I am a father of 2 children. I can say, I am sure many parents who have more than one child will agree. The one thing that every parent will say after I am dead, long gone, please stay like nice brothers. That's the minimum you will ask, right? Isn't it?
That is the main, Sir Guruji, that is the main reason that why we are sufferers. We are suffering because what we have, we are not pleased of it, but what others have, we are envious.
Yeah, grass is always greener on the other side.
Yeah.
We always want what we don't have.
Yeah.
And we are not satisfied with what we have. Okay. And it is not that we want to get what we don't have through legal means. Legal doesn't mean by laws of America or India. When I say legal, I mean by Krishna's laws. So we do illegal things. Illegal things means try to take others' quota, which means basically try to cheat others, try to exploit others, not just other human beings, but even other animals. In the purport in this book, Īśopaniṣad, Srila Prabhupada has one big paragraph, therefore, on vegetarianism. How can you just, cut off an animal's head and eat it without its permission? Has any chicken, cow, goat said, yes, cut my head and eat me? So they have not traded their body. So we are encroaching on their quota and just taking it away. And therefore, he has a long purport on that topic, that is called encroaching on someone else's quota. That is cheating. That is anyaya, injustice, not just cheating, but a more strong word, injustice. And me and the chicken are brothers and sisters, whatever. We are siblings. So the Lord doesn't like when we take away their quota, like we think our body is our quota, that chicken's body is the chicken's quota. How can you take their quota? Following? Okay. So the important question here is that we should identify what quota has been given to us. Don't worry about other things. Some minimum things we have identified is definitely ours. There are big gaps. I asked, put your hand on your heart and tell me if you are utilizing your quota, which you know properly. Nobody raised their hands. That means everybody has some gap. Please work on that gap, which means utilize your body, utilize your time to serve Krishna. That will be proper utilization of your quota. And that's all that matters. Okay. So please consider, please contemplate what changes you will make in your life to make better use of your quota. considering that it is still Lord's property, you are just a caretaker. Okay? All right. Now we will go through, it is 6:50 and Srila Prabhupada has written, so we have about half an hour time. And Srila Prabhupada has written a very beautiful purport, a long purport consisting of 11 paragraphs. So we will summarize, I will summarize the purport and we will discuss some topics from the purport. But what we have just discussed is the sort of the meaning and the understanding of the verse. And now when you see Prabhupada's purport, it will, you will see how it fits in each paragraph, how it is relevant to the main theme of the verse. So in the meantime, are there any questions? Please raise your hand. And by the way, on my screen, on my Mac, this font is very, very small. So I cannot see even with my glasses. So if you want to raise your hand and ask the question, then please do so.
One request, sir. One request, Prabhuji. One request. When purport is being read, so please share the screen, because I'm
not going to read the purport. I'm going to share a PowerPoint slide which has the summary. Yes, I will share. But I hope you have the book.
Well, I don't have the book because it is not available in Lucknow. So I'm trying to.
I'm sure there is a strong temple.
Lucknow, but it is not available in Lucknow.
Sir, it is available on Amazon easily, sir. I ordered it from Amazon in India. So you can do that.
Amazon.in, please order it from there or ask one of your friends in some other ISKCON temple, Delhi, Bombay, wherever.
I've already instructed my son to let it buy. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Till then, you can use Veda base.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions? You can raise your hands. Okay. Can be copied. Okay. Try something here.
Can I reload the charts, Prabhuji?
No, I got it now.
Okay.
Good idea by someone. How do we know what has been allocated to us? Okay, great. We already answered that. In the material world, we are always working to get more, whether to use it. So I hope that question is answered, Prasoon Prabhu. How do we know what has been?
Yes, sir. Ji, Prabhuji.
Very good. See, this is the beauty of reading Acharya's commentaries and senior devotees' notes and all that. They already anticipate the questions most people will ask and answer it. So that is the quality of a good commentator. Okay, then the question is, everyone tries to improve his or her status by striving hard. How to decide it is enough? I think the Lord himself inspires us to realize it in our heart at some point of time. So improve this material status. So I think this question you should, is at a, when we say improving the material, improving our status, it is due to some material attachments. My status should go up. The only status that we should strive hard to increase is our status in the view of Krishna. Krishna should say, "Haan, iska status bahut acha hai." His status is very good. He is a good devotee. All other status really does not matter. It really does not matter, and it should not matter. There is no other status. The only status is what Krishna thinks of us. Okay, so that is the answer. Yes, Pattabhi Prabhu, you have your hand raised.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Sorry, quick question, Prabhuji. So
yes,
first thing is like, why do we actually got this? Like
propensity to encroach?
No, Prabhuji. Like, where did we actually get this? The quota itself. Like, I mean, I know it depends on past Janma. I understand that, but where did we start? I mean, really, I mean, why do we actually have to come here?
Then your question is, why do we exist?
Yeah.
Because
I mean,
when
why do we actually come
have to be given
away?
some quota?
Yeah,
Is
I mean,
that
why
your-
do we actually come away from Krishna when he knows that there's only suffering here?
I think you answered that question during the Bhagavad Gita class multiple times.
Yes, I have, but everybody has the right time to ask and right time to understand. So no question is a bad question. So your question can be seen in two ways. One is that why do we exist? First of all, why did the Lord create us? We are all children of God. The reason why God created us is because he wants to enjoy with his devotees. Just being alone is no fun. Everybody realizes that, right? It leads to depression, it leads to whatever, husband and wife can fight, and then husband says, I'm going. After 2 days, not even 2 days, after half a day only, says, oh no, didn't make the right decision. Then he comes back, right? So yeah, I have also done that. So being alone is being alone is no fun. So the Lord also wants to enjoy, and he needs devotees for that. So he creates the jivas. The second point is that he wants these devotees to love him freely. So he gives free will so that they have a choice to love or not to love the Lord. Otherwise, what is the fun in having a relationship with a robot or a pre-programmed jiva who will by design always love? The only way it makes sense is to give them free will and to give them proper resources to put your best foot forward, isn't it? A nice way to understand is through the relationship between parent and child. When the child is born, no parent goes to an astrologer and asks, will this child love me when he grows up? And if the answer is yes, then I will give him good education, good other facilities. If the astrologer says he's going to be a rascal, then I will not do. Nobody does that, right? All parents give proper, nice facilities to the child selflessly. Then the child may or may not reciprocate later. Correct? So the Lord, first of all, he has created the jivas, then he gives us the resources, and he gives us a free choice. And some of us choose to love him, some of us want to enjoy separately from him. Just like some children, reciprocate with their parents, some forget. So does that answer your question, Pattabhiram Prabhu? That's a simplistic answer, but there are many deeper aspects. But there are some children who want to just enjoy without the parents, separately from Krishna, that is.
Krishna says, Bahuna Janmanamante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate. Maybe that is the reason that we are born.
That is the reason that we are what?
We are born.
No, Mataji. That verse is talking about the fact that process of jnana is a very long process. And if we take the path of jnana, that is why Krishna is talking about jnanavan. After many, many lifetimes, they ultimately realize that Krishna is Vasudeva Sarvamiti. At that time, they surrender to Krishna. Mam Prapadyate. So we talked about this. You can listen to yesterday's Bhagavad Gita class. And we touched upon this point. All right. Anything else? Okay. So we covered the questions on the chat and online and in the room. So now I'm going to share the screen to display the give me 1 second. Okay. And I will share the screen. Okay, great. Can you see this PowerPoint slide, Śrī Īśopaniṣad?
Yes. Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, great.
Yes, Prabhuji.
All right. So the purport has 11 paragraphs. I'm just going to quickly summarize. Anybody who is doing the Bhakti Shastri should read the purports carefully, because all the homework, tests, everything, you need to know the purport. You need to understand the purport. So there is that is a expectation that is there on the students. So the first paragraph, Srila Prabhupada is describing that Vedic knowledge is perfect. So whatever is being said in the Vedic knowledge is itself perfect, and we should accept it as it is. Because the Isavashyam Principle is written where? Where is it written? In the Īśopaniṣad. So how do you know that this verse itself is correct? You can say, no, this verse, I don't agree with the verse. This whole universe is my property. Hiranyakashipu said that. He definitely knew all the Vedas, because he recited the Vedic knowledge to the wives of Hiranyaksh when he died. He was talking Vedic knowledge at that time to them. So he was very learned in the Vedas. But when the time came to apply it on his own self, he said, no, this whole universe is my property. Right? So the Vedic knowledge is perfect. And that is why we have the first invocation verse, Purnamidam. Because the Vedas are part of Purnamadaha, Purnamidam. They are, that is Shruti, that was spoken by the Lord and is available to us, and it is perfect. It is Purna. In the second paragraph, Srila Prabhupada, so I'm kind of summarizing it quickly. Srila Prabhupada is describing or saying that the Lord is perfect. And the entire material world is controlled by the Lord, and therefore Lord is the owner of the material world. So basically he is describing the Isavashyam Principle, that the Supreme Lord is the proprietor or the owner of the material world. That is also described in para 3 through the 2 verses of Bhagavad Gita, 7.4 and 7.5. What are those verses? Was it there as a memorization verse or not? I cannot remember. Bhumir apa anala vayu kha mano buddhir evacha ahankara iti yamme bhinna prakritir ashtadha. So that is talking about the apara shakti, the inferior energy of the Lord. In the next verse, the Lord talks about his parashakti, the 9th energy, which is the jivas, the spirit souls. That is the parashakti. But both of them are shakti of the Lord. Therefore, everything inanimate and animate, matter and jiva, that is animate and inanimate, para and apara, or apara and para, whatever, matter, apara, jiva or souls, para. Everything is Bhagavan's shakti. Therefore, the Lord is the owner of everything, because Shaktiman is the owner of Shakti. That is obvious. Shakti comes from Shaktiman. The cause is Shaktiman, the effect is Shakti. So cause has a higher position than the effect, correct? We always ask, what is the root cause? Any problem, what is the root cause? So when you fix the cause, the problem goes away. So the cause has a higher position in logic. This is called Nyaya. Nyaya Shastra means logic. So cause is higher than the effect. Do you all agree? So the cause is Shaktiman. Effect is Shakti. So therefore, Shaktiman is the owner of Shakti, and everything is Shakti, para and apara. Therefore, Shaktiman is the owner of the entire world. Clear? You follow the logic? Then, para 4, 5, and 6, there is a common theme across these paragraphs, that the Lord is the proprietor. Again, Isavashyam Principle. Of course, every paragraph will have connection to the main topic. Srila Prabhupada is not going to talk about some random concept, right? But his purports are very important. So we are going through para by para. So the Lord is proprietor, and the important part is we are caretakers. It is not like he has given the quota along with power of attorney. Do whatever you want. No. Yes, of course, free will is there, but we are supposed to accept it as if we are the caretakers. We are not supposed to misuse it. Therefore, we must understand and know what is in the best interest, what will please the Lord the most. And we should be aligned with Lord's interest, not opposite or misaligned. So the Lord has set aside a quota for all the beings, and all the beings are expected to stay within the quota. Two very nice examples. Kindly keep yourself muted. So, two very nice examples Srila Prabhupada gives. One is that of a cow. A cow produces milk, but the cow does not drink the milk. What is the food of a cow? Grass and hay, right? Milk is not supposed to be the food of the cow. It is the food for the calf, but not the cow. Okay? But the cow produces milk for other beings, its calf and human beings. So very nicely it has been explained. Srila Prabhupada explains in brief, but other devotees have explained that the cow by design produces a lot of milk, more milk than its calf can consume. Much, much more. And the purpose is because the humans are supposed to be the consumers. The cow is not considered a wild animal. By design, it is a tamed animal. There is something called a wild animal, like a tiger is a wild animal. Elephant is in the middle category. Sometimes wild, sometimes tamed. But cow is a tamed animal, which means it is supposed to live with humans. It is supposed to live under the care of humans. And when the cow feels very secure, gets a lot of love, gets a lot of freedom, gets a lot of seva, service, cow is supposed to be served because the demigods reside within the cow's body. Then the cow gives tremendous milk. Just like a tree, if you give it right sunshine, manure, water, then it will produce great fruits. We understand that. Now, many of us, all of us, none of us own cows, so we don't have experience, but we own plants. Even a child, you love the child. If you always keep the child locked in the room, that is called child abuse in this country. But it will definitely affect the growth of the child, isn't it? So how is a cow different? So when you love the cow, care for the cow, serve the cow, make it feel secure, give it nice food, it produces tremendous milk, more than what its calf can consume. That is called proper, so cow, properly uses its quota. It gives. So that is one example. The cow produces milk, but does not claim proprietorship over it. It knows its quota. My quota is this much. The milk I am producing is not my quota, even though it is producing it. All right. So that is the, wonderful. It's kind of amazing. It is producing something and relinquishing it for us. Such a nice cow animal, such a nice animal it is. That is one example. Now some people counter argue that, oh, that is not true. cow, it doesn't produce enough milk. It, and therefore, after it has given birth to the calf, after some 1 or 2 years, we're supposed to kill the cow and eat it. But they say we have done experiments, scientific experiments. But those experiments are done in a situation where the cow is treated very poorly. Obviously, the output will be like this. You do an experiment on a plant, don't give it water, don't give it sunshine, don't give it manure. And then you will say, I see, I planted the plant and it didn't produce any fruits or produced only 2 fruits. That is not the proper way to conduct the experiment. You conduct the experiment according to the Vedic principles, you will get the results mentioned in the Vedic books. You don't conduct it, you will not get the result. So those results, those experiments are all bogus. We know from our thousands of years, that is how Lord has created nature. We have a tree in our house, a plum tree. Now, what is the purpose, biological purpose of a fruit? Please tell me. Science students, what is the biological purpose of a fruit of a tree, Shivani?
Reproduction.
Reproduction.
Reproduction, right? The fruit contains the seed of the tree and the fruit falls and then the seed will come and the new tree will come, correct? In that tree in our house, there are so many fruits. One day we wanted to get some fruits. I was amazed. I could really see with my own eyes how many fruits that produces. If we were to survive on just plums, let us say it's not possible, but let us say we can survive. That had enough fruits to last for several months. If we just eat plums, they were like big bunches of plums here, there. And many of them were falling on the ground and just going to rot. My point is the tree doesn't need so many fruits for reproduction. If the reproduction was the only reason, only 1% or 0.01% of its output would have been sufficient. So please tell me why God has created that tree with so many fruits if reproduction was the only purpose. Huh? Why he has created like that?
For the usage of men.
For our consumption, yes. Just like the cow produces the milk for our consumption, the tree produces the fruits for our consumption. That is the design. We cannot say, oh, we are harming the tree if we are taking the fruit. Otherwise, it will rot.
In the same way, they will say the river water.
Same things. Okay. So that is one example. Then a counter example is given that when you build a house, this house is built of what? Wood, stone, let us say stone, wood, some metal, those kind of things. Where did those things come from? From nature. So what we have done, when you cut the tree, some woodcutter must have cut some tree, correct? Did he take permission from the tree? Can I cut you? No. Just cut the tree and then he gets the money for his action of cutting. For his hard work of cutting the tree, he claims, oh, this wood is this much, isn't it? But does the wood really belong to him? Fine, he can get some compensation for his labor. But really the wood did not belong to him. If I went and cut a tree, then I could have got it myself. Why do I need to pay the woodcutter? Correct? But we consider it ourselves. The woodcutter thinks this is my wood. You need to pay me. That is the counter example. So that is the example given in para numbers 4, 5, and 6. Para number 7 is very interesting about the quarrel between capitalists and communists. So please think, acharyas give the commentaries based on the time, place, and circumstance. So when Srila Prabhupada, if you remember, he was writing these books in the 60s and 70s. What was at the height at that time? Cold War.
Communism.
Communism, capitalism, and the Cold War was at its
Cold
peak.
War.
Yes. So the point that Srila Prabhupada is making is talking about the quarrel between capitalists and communists. And he is saying that there will never be any real peace. Both parties will keep fighting. And no one is right. Communists are trying to say the communism is the best approach. Capitalists are trying to say that capitalism is the best approach. But Srila Prabhupada makes a very important point that both are godless. Have you ever heard in capitalism or communism any God-centered principle? No. Communism says that everybody is equal. So whatever resources are available, we should share it equally amongst others, all of us. Whether you work hard or you don't work hard, everybody gets equal. So the problem is that it kills one's desire to excel. It kills the inspiration. It kills the, there is no meritocracy. On the other hand, there is capitalism which rewards meritocracy, correct? But the problem is that the reward in capitalism is about material reward, correct? Everything is about material reward. Free market, that is capitalism. What is a market? It is all about economy. Economy is about money, isn't it? Ultimately, that's what it is. So the whole discussion about capitalism is centered around sense gratification. So yes, it rewards meritocracy, but it promotes sense gratification. I need to be meritorious so that I can gratify my senses. You following? And when sense gratification comes in the picture, now in communism, there is no sense gratification. Everybody gets equal. Okay, then the state controls. If you encroach, the state will. So it kills that, and slowly the output itself goes down. There is not enough resources, enough left to divide amongst the people, and the people starve to death. That's what happened. That's why communism collapsed. Correct? Because nobody is working. Where are the resources to share? 0 divided by any number is still 0. So what will you share? 0, right? Capitalism, on the other hand, heavily rewards the meritocracy, but the whole engine is based on sense gratification, which leads to, because you are so conditioned and trained in sense gratification, any amount is not enough, because there is a limit to meritocracy, right? Then you say, I'm so much desiring sense gratification, but I cannot be more meritorious. So what do? Cheat. Haven't you heard all these big corporations and, so much cheating going on? So many CEOs have been jailed because they, to bump up the stock price, they will do insider trade, whatever, trade. So much cheating goes on. Corruption, cheating. Because it fuels sense gratification. So both are both are godless, and both don't result in ultimate prosperity of the people. Some people prosper, others suffer. So what is the solution? What is the solution?
Don't cheat.
Okay, but as a society, capitalism and communism is the societal organization, so to say.
Get away with both.
Yeah, but get away with both and go where? Vedic scriptures, very nice. And the answer is Varnashram. Varnashram is the Vedic system for organizing society based on one's guna and karma. Chaturvarnyam maya shrishtam guna karma vibhagashah, Bhagavan says in the Bhagavad Gita. So Varnashrama is a God-centered society. It also rewards meritocracy, but it doesn't discard those who are not so advanced. There is a place for everybody in the society. If you are not very intelligent, very whatever, you can be at a worker level. Shudra doesn't mean untouchable. Shudra means, if you come to Bhagavad Gita classes or you can listen to the recordings, like in a corporate culture, also we have Varnashram system. We don't call it that, but software engineers, I say they are Shudras. Shudra means what? Shudra means who follows the instructions. Whatever they are being told, you are doing. So somebody writes the design, somebody conceives the product. They are implementers. They are the executors. And you need vast amounts of such people. Can any software company survive without software engineers? If only you had sales and marketing, we can say they are Vaishyas. Or the managers, manager class. They are the Kshatriyas, correct? Administrators. And you have the thinkers. In Intel, we call them like fellows. They conceive new things. They are like the Brahmanas. I'm just making a mapping. No, it's very, I feel it is very natural. Correct? But if there are fellows, there is sales and marketing, and there are managers, but no engineers. Such a company, will it survive? No. Any of the four you take out, it will not survive. Any of the four. And also based on one's swabhava, one's nature, you try to make an engineer or a fellow into a manager, there have been colossal disasters, right? A person who can just think individually, you cannot just suddenly make him a manager. He may mess up the whole team. Somebody may not be very technical, but he's very good with people skills, administrative skills. He's a good manager. You need all. So as you can see in a corporate environment also, you need all these kind of people, which comes naturally to people for the whole society to function. That is Varnashrama. And everybody's focus is one. Now in this corporate case, focus is one: profits. Now that is the problem part. But in Varnashram system, everybody's focus is spiritual progress. So whether one is Shudra, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, they are all trying to please the Lord with whatever swabhav, their natural skills, their natural guna, qualities. They are doing their karma naturally, and everybody is happy. That system is the best, and that is what Srila Prabhupada says. Both parties must follow Īśopaniṣad, and then there will be real peace. No capitalism, no communism. Okay. Then he very strongly says that Vedic literature is meant for human beings. It has not been written for cats and dogs. Human life is a life of responsibility to be able to discern what is right and wrong. Cat and dog cannot discern what is right and wrong. And how do we know what is right and wrong? From the Vedas. They tell us what is right and wrong, and the human, therefore, it is imperative for humans to read the Vedic scriptures, to understand them, again knowledge, and then apply. Then paragraph 10, very strongly Srila Prabhupada talks about vegetarianism. Again, because you just cannot eat another animal. That is not Isavashyam Principle. You cannot just take away its body and say it is mine. And because it is mine, I get to eat you. Cannot do that. And also Srila Prabhupada says that even plants are life. You cannot even take away a plant's body. But that has been allocated as a quota. You can take the plant and eat. only if you offer it to the Lord. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord says, Yagya Shishta Shina Santo Muchyante Sarva Kilbishai. That you must offer the food as a yagya to the Lord. Otherwise, bhunjate te agham papa ye pachantya karanat atma karanat bhunjate te agham papa. Otherwise, they are consuming only sin. So even plants you are not supposed to eat, but then you will die of hunger. You cannot eat animals, you cannot eat plants. What will you eat? Mrida bhakshana? You will eat dirt like Lord Krishna. He can eat dirt. But human beings or any of us cannot survive on dirt. I cannot survive on. We have to eat plants. The correct way to eat plants is to offer to the Lord and eat. That has been given as our quota. So Srila Prabhupada talks about that. And then he gives a segue into the next verse, or the next two verses, which are part of the section, also action oriented, action or application oriented. So in this verse, it is a combination of knowledge and action, right? Isavashyam idam sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagat. That is the knowledge part, that the Lord is the owner of everything in this universe. That is the knowledge part. And the next two lines, what is that? Yat kincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjitha ma gridha kasya swid dhanam. That is the action part, that you should only accept whatever is the quota and should not take somebody else's dhanam. Then what happens if you follow the principle is mantra 2, and what happens if you don't follow the principle is mantra 3. Mantra 2 will say then you make spiritual progress. Mantra 3 will say you will make spiritual decline. Essentially, that's what 2 and 3 will talk about. Clear? So the last paragraph, Lord is saying, disobeying the Lord's order. The Lord's order is to accept one's quota, will ruin the human beings. So that is essentially the third verse. So next class, we will cover 2 and 3 together. We will look at the advantages or the benefits to human beings to follow the Isavashyam principle and the harm that comes when you disobey that principle. Okay? Okay, so we will stop here for today's class purposes. Any questions? Somebody has hands raised. So, Suri Prabhu, you can go ahead.
Prabhuji, Purport, para 11, disobeying Lord's order. Within bracket, it is mentioned as to accept only one's quota, not to accept one's quota.
No, Lord's order, I may have got the words maybe confusing. Lord's order is to accept one's quota, but not obeying means to go beyond that. I can change that if you, I know it may be a little confusing.
Okay. Thank you.
After hearing for 1 hour, I hope it is obvious. Okay, I don't see any more questions.
Prabhuji, I did raise my hand.
Okay, yeah, sorry, Mataji. Please go ahead.
Yeah, no worries. I just wanted to understand more about, what is our quota. I mean, I did understand that our body is within our quota and then, our senses and things like that. But what about the materialistic quota? I mean, what I'm trying to understand is like from a spiritual point of view, we understand, okay, our body, our time, that should be used. But what about the money that we are earning or the quantity of money that we want to have or the house in the materialistic sense? That's what my question is, I believe, in terms of quota.
Yes, Mataji. So like, let's say if you're doing a job like I said, like we discussed briefly, how do you earn the money in your job? You go work 40 hours a week and you get the salary, correct? Ultimately, it is your time and your energy and your talent that you are trading with the employer. Or if you are self-employed, then you are using your talent, etc. Again, now let us say let's take the case of employer. He is providing you with whatever resources, etc. And you are trading your time, energy, skills, your intelligence to earn the money. We can say that the money, therefore, we are getting is our quota. Now, if you have any very corner case questions, that is why we should try to understand the scriptures better to further discern, is this really my quota for the corner cases, for the boundary cases? Or have a connection with our Gurujanas, whether they are Shiksha Gurus or Diksha Guru, our, whoever senior we respect, we can go and discuss with them that is this something that I should be hankering towards, or I should be aspiring towards or not at a material level? Or is this going to be a barrier in my spiritual progress? And if the answer is that yes, this is not a barrier in your spiritual progress, then maybe that is on a case-by-case basis and based on discussion. Maybe that is part of the quota. And in some cases, maybe if it is hampering or impeding your spiritual progress, it's not your quota. But I have not come across any general rule or law about it. It is highly on a case-by-case basis. And through proper understanding of Bhagavad Gita and the Shastras, we can understand through the understanding of Srimad Bhagavatam, where many, many stories and many, many case studies are given. We can understand to a fairly good extent what is our quota and what is not.
Yeah, the reason why I asked was like, maybe we are earning money with fair means, but it's just that, do we need that money to fulfill our desires? Or as you said, when you kind of explained that, if it is advancing you in spirituality, then yes, it's within your quota. But if it's not, then it's not.
Yeah.
So that helps.
Yeah, Lord Krishna, or not Lord Krishna, but in the Lord, Lord Krishna himself, but I keep saying Lord Krishna because directly Lord Krishna is speaking Bhagavad Gita, but all the Vedas have also been spoken by Lord Krishna. The Lord is saying here, Ma Gridha Kasya Svidhanam. So that line is very important. And Baladev Vidyabhushan, who is our one of the great acharyas in our parampara, in our disciplic succession, says that the meaning of Gridha, Srila Prabhupada translates it as endeavor to gain. And he directly calls it as hankering. So we will read this in a nectar of instruction also. This hankering should not be there. Accept what comes by its own means, easily what comes to you. Over endeavoring and hankering to obtain something, if we are doing, we need to realize it was not meant for us. When we over endeavor, when we hanker to get something, when we go out of the way. Now, again, you may ask, what is out of the way? What is the boundary line of, not out of the way versus out of the way? Those are, again, case by case questions. But in general, the more you are hankering and the more you are striving to go out of the way for something, to that much extent, you are not able to invest your time, your energy, your mind in Krishna. And therefore, one must understand that is not meant for me. We must hanker, definitely we must hanker, but we must hanker for Krishna Bhakti. And we must invest all our time and energy in improving that. And we must only do enough to maintain our livelihood and accept what comes of its own accord. So that's what I can say, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Thanks, Mataji. Thank you so much. Anything else? If not, then we can close here. This is Kartik month, very, very auspicious month. Please offer lamp to Lord Damodar. Sing the Damodar Ashtakam. I hope you all know about Damodar Ashtakam. And, please increase your spiritual practices, your sadhana during this month. It has so much reward, especially this month. This is like a bonus month, like, buy one, get one free kind of thing. So if you do X sadhana, the rewards are multiplied. So please make use of this month for doing more bhajan, more kirtan, more shravan, more sadhana. Okay. Anything else? Next week we are having the class, right? Yeah. So we'll continue with mantra 2 and 3. So if you want to pre-read the purports, you can read 2 and 3. And I will take the attendance for, based on the Zoom plus in person. So make sure you have your name correct. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Srila
Thank you,
Prabhupada
Prabhuji.
ki jai.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Hare
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Krishna Prabhuji.